Good evening. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock. It's a beautiful late spring evening outside the council house in Atherstone, and I've just been to the annual meeting of North Warwickshire Borough Council. Now, the annual meeting is where things are set up for the new year. So we've had a vote for a new mayor, because mayor's normally done for a year, and a vote for deputy mayor, and that's also for a year. And the position of mayor, it's not like Andy Street or that. It's a little bit more than procedural, but there's a lot of ceremonial duties. So they'll go and open fetes and visit groups, and be at the school plays and church jam competitions and all of that. And there's the opportunity to use it for raising money for charity as well. But also there's a distinct constitutional function in terms of they chair the meetings of the Borough Council, and they also, and they could have, when votes are close, if votes are even, they would have a casting vote, so they'd in fact get 2 votes in the event of a tie. So there was only one proposal, and that was for Colin Hayfield, who's a previous leader of the council and was deputy mayor last year. I was quite happy to vote for Colin. He's a member of the Conservative group, though. But he's always struck me as very fair. He seeks to operate in the right way. He's got a slight academic background in archaeology, so there's a scientific rigour in terms of his method. And I'm quite sure that he will perform the role. He's very civil as well, so he'll be representing us very well, and also I feel that he'll conduct meetings very well. So I had no problem with that. I didn't have any problem with the proposals for deputy mayor, although I did speak on this matter because the deputy mayor, there's a lot, there's not as many ceremonial functions because you'd want the mayor rather than the deputy mayor, wouldn't you? But similarly is that the chance that they would actually have to chair meetings is less. So, but I think that it was a great opportunity to show a different side to the council. The councillors are, they're old. They're generally. I still think of myself like I'm 24, but I'm not. I'm double that and a bit. And I think that the proposal of the Labour group is Councillor Katie Hobley. Now, I've served with Katie on the Health and Wellbeing Board, and the fact that she likes my posts on Twitter has got nothing to do with what I'm about to say. But she's bright and sparky and engaging and friendly, and is different to the vast majority of the people in there. And I think that if you want people to be engaged in communities and want to go and do that, then that would be a fantastic appointment. I didn't get to vote for Katie because the way that it works is that the first person who's nominated gets voted, and if they get a majority, it goes. The person who was elected, I've served again with on Health and Wellbeing Board, and she's really good and she's nice. And there are people out there who, over the course of the last 12 months, have not been nice. Who've sat at the back of meetings and they've, it's just nasty, and rude and objectionable. And she's not one of those, so that's quite good. And so the appointment was there, but I didn't vote in favour of her. I abstained because I wanted the opportunity to vote for Katie, but they did nothing wrong, so I wasn't going to vote against. So that was that. There was a motion as well around the makeup of committees for next year. So there's a really interesting thing, because it is a hung council to all intents and purposes, is that no group holds an overall majority. 17 Conservative, 15 Labour, and 3 independents, 2 of whom have formed a group, the Dordon Independents, and 1 who's on his own. Hello! And we had to vote last year as to whether when you have committees, they're in the same proportion as seats that are in the full council. And there was two proposals. One was the 7-6-1 proposal, where 7 for Labour, 7 for the Conservatives, 6 for Labour, and 1 of the Independents, as opposed to 6-6-1 with 6 Conservatives, 6 Labour, and 1 Independent, which would have given the Independents effectively the power of control on every single committee. For some reason, the 2 people who've now formed the Dordon Independents thought, oh, we've got all of this power and influence, let's sell it, and and basically handed it over, so that we don't hold the balance of power in any of it. Because they formed a group this year, there was the possibility that actually my membership of any committee was going to be reduced to 0, something I campaigned and railed against. Partially successful. So I'm on the same committees as I was last year. However, I'm sitting on 4 committees and boards, one of which is taxi licensing, which is effectively half a membership of 1 meeting per year, because you do both licensing committees on the same day at the same time, and I'm on 1, so that's a real sort of like the other is standards, which did meet last year once, but only meets on an ad hoc basis. So I'm only effectively on 2, resources and health and wellbeing. And I'd like to think that I play my part in both of those and represent my area and borough well. But the Dordon Independents, their 2 members, they're on 7 and 6 memberships, and that's fine. I sort of like take that. But at the same time, is that my area of specialism, what I do for a living, is that I'm a recruiter by trade. I advise local authorities on, and national authorities on recruitments and specific recruitments there, and we have a senior recruitment body, and that's done on party political lines, and they've picked an independent that isn't me, and I'm just thinking, my God, I'd charge you hundreds of pounds a day for the advice that I would give you, and you could get it for free. And it's like, we don't want that. We don't want people to know what they're doing, or people using their areas of specialism. We want to do it on party political lines, which is to the detriment of everyone, and I just don't get it. If you're wondering why the car park's so quiet, it's because everyone's inside having a buffet. I was tempted to go and get my food from the buffet and go and give it to a homeless person. I understand that there's a need for a reception for the outgoing mayor, and that's great, but hey, I don't get to spend enough time with my family and doing my ward work as it is, so I'm not going to spend time doing that here when I could be speaking to you. Other motion tonight was on extending parental leave for councillors. We've got a councillor who's about to give birth, and good luck, Michaela. Wish you all the best. And it's the same for parental leave and aspects of that. That got passed unanimously. It was rather disappointing that there was an opportunity. As everything's just been so combative. Is that on the motion around 7-6-1-6-6-1, it was like, this is democracy, you lost. I was just thinking, my God, is that let's try and build consensus where there's an opinion here. Is that, but you didn't win. Is that it's really strange. But on the motion of parental leave, it was like I've got no objection to this, but I think we need to be really careful. We could have done this anyway. Why we're doing this? We're not employees. It's just like, just think about the messages that it sends out in terms of attracting people to want to become councillors. People, heck, most of the people who come with issues, or our parents, it's kids, and we want to be accessible to people, who are parents, and be that. And yet it's just sort of like, yeah, I'm in favour of it, but let's send a message out that actually it's not for you. And I just find it really disappointing that we're not looking at the messages as to who's out there in terms of who's engaging. And again, it's this whole aspect of the community and the engaged community who things are done for. Whereas there's a whole raft of people who aren't engaged, who've got issues, and these are the people we need to be going out and touching and reaching and bringing in. And if that means that our own individual influence wanes because voices that need to be heard are heard better, then so be it. That is democracy as well. So anyway, let's go and see what the next 12 months brings. So The dates of meetings are set up. My voting record is online, so you can go and look, see which I voted on everything. And yeah, welcome to the municipal year 24-25. All the best. Take care. Bye bye.